we say someone is mediocre, what do we mean? Last night I went to Goodreads and found some quotes about mediocrity. So mediocrity, what does it mean? Here's a quote by Arthur Conan Doyle. Mediocrity knows nothing higher than itself, but talent instantly recognizes genius. What's he saying there? Mediocrity is mired in its own filth. Talent instantly recognizes when someone else is great or when they're great, or it's not very clear. But the thing about mediocrity is it's sort of a value judgment, isn't it? I mean, we always make value judgments. I make a value judgment, you make a value judgment. How can we really say what's mediocre when it comes to, for example, the arts? For many, the Beatles are genius, but not for everyone. Some people really don't like the Beatles, and they're just sort of hokey or stale or whatever. So, are they mediocre to them? How about the Rolling Stones? Mediocre, genius, somewhere in between? And we could go on with more current examples. Say The Weeknd. Is he a genius? Is he just sort of rehashing other stuff that people have already done? I guess art always does that. But I must say, in The Weeknd's latest album, I heard something that sounded sort of like Weather Report or something like that. Now, obviously, the guy has listened to a lot of different music, and he puts it into his current music. But is it genius? Or is it mediocre? Or is it good? Will it stand the test of time? These are some of the questions that we have to ask when we're talking about mediocrity and genius. And I don't really see that in any of these quotes here. So I'm sort of wondering if maybe these guys, in saying that they definitively know what is mediocre, one could argue that they're being mediocre themselves. Because genius, and it's a concept, right? It comes from sort of, I don't know, genius, come on, is it Greece or Rome? I'd have to check it out, but it goes back. It's not a Christian idea. When we get into Christianity, everything changes, just everything. Your whole table of values goes upside down, just like Jesus overturned the tables of the money changers. So genius is not about what everybody likes. It's not about what makes the most money. Genius is, well, maybe it's just a concept. Because for Christians, bona fide Christians that is, what's really important is doing God's will with the gifts you've been given by God. So you don't have to be like, this brilliant superstar on the world stage to be a good Christian. Obviously not. You just have to do what you believe God wants you to do. It's really quite simple. So the average lay person can be a brilliant Christian, and many are. And they don't worry about being geniuses or mediocre, because Christianity just goes beyond all that relativity. Now, of course, some biblical scholars will say the genius of Paul, St. Paul, because he, synthesized a lot of different elements of Christian and Jewish religion, and he sort of obliterated a lot of the rules and regulations and helped to spread Christianity to Gentiles. So people do talk about the genius of Paul, but that's scholars talking about the genius of Paul. And, we have to wonder just how close some of those scholars are to God, or if they're just close to their paychecks like so many scholars are. Anyhow, that's it for today. I was just thinking about mediocrity, and I don't have an answer, but I think really what matters most is not if we're brilliant or mediocre in the arts or in our studies or in our speaking ability for that matter, but rather, do we please God or not? Are we doing the right thing for God, or at least trying to do the right thing for God? That's what is really important.